Got to be 12 years or younger to play in that Little League championship.
Hey, how about this? Here's a replay. He's ready. Nice arm. Brought the arm down and around. Used his body and the arm. So congratulations once again to the Trumbull, Connecticut Little League World Champions. They beat Taiwan. Ralph said that you have to be 12 years old or younger. Taiwan is in the finals every year, and they're 34 years old and younger.
And Frank Viola on the mound for the Mets with a record of 3-5, an earned run average of 3.28. He has had 10 game starts this year for the New York Mets, working 71 1/3 innings, giving up 60 hits, walking 25, and striking out 62. His lifetime record: 115 wins, 98 losses. His first appearance ever against Montreal.
And the defense for the New York Mets: Tuffle, Jeffries, Elster, and Johnson in the infield. McReynolds, Sam Welling, Carrion in the outfield. Carter behind the plate. Viola on the mound. How about the thrill that young man had throwing that pitch to Gary Carter behind the plate? Well, it should be what is a sellout crowd here at Shea Stadium. We've had some unpredictable weather here in New York. It looks unpredictable today, but we're going to get this ball game in. Keep in mind, tomorrow's ball game is also a sellout. Boy, they've been packing them in here at Shea Stadium.
And tickets are available for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday all-night games with the Philadelphia Phillies. So in the last 5 games of the Mets homestand and season.
And it's ski cap day here at Shea Stadium. So get your ski caps. Come on out. Enjoy yourself. Whoa, he's got the rhythm too. Some great music out here at Shea Stadium, courtesy of CBS FM, those oldies but goodies here in New York.
And speaking of oldies, a great songwriter with 500 songs written, dying yesterday.
In fact, that song, God Bless America, outstanding. I mean, he, talking about Irving Berlin, 101 years old, passing away. And boy, what a legacy he left.
They played God Bless America in lieu of the national anthem. There was a big drive on to make God Bless America our official national anthem.
Well, you know, Ralph, judging from the people that joined in that song, I think a lot of people would like to see God Bless America as our national anthem.
Well, in some cases, it's more representative of the United States than the Star Spangled Banner, which was a song that was written in England.
Tim Raines takes a strike from Frank Viola. 0-1 Raines, by the way, batting .286, 9 home runs and 60 RBIs. In fact, I read in the paper, God Bless America, written by Irving Berlin. He wrote it in New York. And as Raines takes up high, 1-1. Kate Smith had her radio show here in New York. He went over, said, I want to see her. Her manager was the one who met with. He ran in, got Kate Smith, and she recorded the song. What a great song. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Fouled out of play. 1-2. America lost a treasure in Irving Berlin. One ball and 2 strikes on Tim Raines. Raines has scored 74 runs. While we were in Montreal, he was benched. There's been a lot of benching this year of big name players, Ralph.
Well, Strawberry not playing in today's ball game.
Kevin McReynolds was benched in Chicago. Here's the 2. It was now 2-2 on Tim Raines. Montreal Expos had a great first half. They faltered after the All-Star break. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Popped up. Shallow left to center field. And Samuel comes in and makes the grab. 1 down.
Well, in case you haven't seen the results of yesterday's ball games, San Francisco leading San Diego by 5 and Houston by 6 in the Western Division. In the American League, Oakland leading California by 4, Kansas City by 5.5, and in the Eastern Division, Toronto leading Baltimore by 2. The Cubs lead St. Louis by 4, the Mets by 5.5, and Montreal by 8.
And Marcus Grissom, the batter, takes a strike from Frank Viola. Grissom batting .327, 1 home run and 2 RBIs. He was in the minor leagues this year. recently recalled from the minor leagues, but a big prospect.
Pinch hitter in last night's ball game, struck out by Randy Myers, who picked up his 24th save. Mets winning 3-2, a one-run ball game.
1-1 on Grissom. There's that changeup hit right off the end of the bat. Scored that one 1-3. 2 down. You'll see a lot of balls hit off the end of the bat when Viola has his good stuff, especially that great changeup.
His bread and butter pitch, it reacts a little like a screwball, although he calls it an okay pitch. In other words, he forms the sign okay to throw the ball, putting his forefinger and thumb together.
Well, the batter now, and he's okay, at least up until this year. Andres Galarraga batting .257, 22 home runs and 83 RBIs. There's a drive in the gap in right center field. Samuel cuts the ball off. The big cat is heading for second. He slides in with a double. So the cat was scratching.
Galarraga picking up his 27th two-base hit of the year. He's hit 22 home runs. And he puts a good move on this one. He is not definitely a pull hitter. He hits the ball the other way with a lot of power. And he goes with the pitch and drives it in the gap.
Our next batter is Hubie Brooks, who had a 10-game hitting streak snapped on Tuesday. He's batting .252, 12 home runs and 61 RBIs. And Hubie takes a strike. You might be seeing Hubie for the last time in an Expo uniform.
Lifetime .277 hitter with 101 career home runs. He started his career with the Mets.
Fouled off. 0-2.
Hubie playing shortstop for Montreal. Drove in 100 runs, and the first to do that at shortstop in the National League since Ernie Banks back in the 60s.
The kid from St. John's has made it back to New York. Frank Viola. The 0-2 pitch swung on and missed. Strike 3. So the Expos go down. They strand a runner. We played a half inning and an RBI. You'll see his stats. .259, 10 home runs, and 52 RBIs. He hits a high fly ball deep to left field. That ball gone. Is that ball smoked or what? Whoa!
Pitched a 1-0 three-hit shutout against the Mets his last time out against them. So there goes the shutout, and there was no doubt about it. Jeffries picks up his 11th home run of the year, his 17th in his major league career. And Langston giving up his 12th home run this year as you look at Mark Carrion.
Carrion batting .267, 5 home runs and 10 RBIs. 1-0 Mets on a gigantic home run off the bat of Greg Jeffries. Ralph, that kid's like the little big man.
Well, he and Howard Johnson about the same size, and they can generate some power.
He might be smaller than Hojo.
I think he is a little smaller.
I'll tell you, he tattooed that ball. Wow. Carrion takes ball 3. Mark Langston saying, how did that little guy hit the ball so far?
His second leadoff home run, and he has just torn it up as a leadoff batter, hitting around .350 as a leadoff batter since they put him in that spot.
And there's a strike 3-1. We saw Jeffries talking to the doctor, Doc Gooden. I wonder if Doc was telling him how he hits him.
Jeffries was probably saying, take that.
And a 3-1 pitch to Carrion, outside ball 4. Can't say enough about number 32, Mark Carrion. What a year he has had for the Mets. And it's tough the way he did it. He went to the minor leagues, came back. A lot of people felt, even Joe McIlvain, Frank Cash, and Al Harrison felt he should have made the Major League club, but there was no room for him at the end. They sent him to Tyler. He did the job and he's back.
At 279 at Tidewater with only 1 home run. He's had 5 home runs for the Mets. 4 of them as a pinch hitter as Buck Rogers wonders what's going on to his club.
Jeez.
Boy, have they. They were in first place for 41 days.
They've been saying some funny things. There was some criticism about too many left-handers on the ball club. Here's Hojo. He fouls the ball off. Hojo 4 RBIs away from the century mark. He's batting .287 with 35 home runs.
That's interesting. Too many left-handers in the lineup.
Yeah, can you believe that?
Whitey Herzog is praised for the fact that he likes everybody to be left-handed.
Talking about pitchers.
That's right.
Carry on leading off first base, being held on by the big cat, Andres Galarraga. 0-1 on Hojo. He fouls the ball off, so it's 0-2. Hojo with 39 doubles. Takes outside. 1-2. He has 3 triples, and he has scored 97 runs.
77 extra base hits this year.
Hey, if the Mets won this and Mitchell and Clark didn't have the years they had, you'd have to look at Hojo as a possible MVP candidate. The 1-2 pitch is fouled back. But Will Clark, who's out, he missed his first for Rookie of the Year. Jeffries has really turned around his year, but what will hurt Jeffries is the negative publicity he got for 3 months. 1-2 pitch to Hojo, swung on and missed. 1 down.
You know, talking about Jeffries, he got off to that terrible start. All negative publicity. Everybody wanted to send him great sign.
Oh boy, as McReynolds fouls the ball off. McReynolds batting .272, 20 home runs and 79 RBIs.
His lifetime batting average, we're talking about Jeffries, not McReynolds, is .270. So,
yeah,
I mean, even with all that terrible publicity and the ripping that he took at the beginning of the year, he's still got a lifetime average of .270.
He took it from everybody. 0-1 pitch, ground ball to short. This should be a 6-4. No, it's not. It's only a force play. Good hard slide by Mark Carrion, breaking up the double play. That was a tailor-made 6-4-3 double play.
Sort of a microcosm of the way the Montreal Expos are playing. This is a double play for sure, and a terrible throw by Naboa, the second baseman. So they lose a double play. It extends the inning and brings up Juan Samuel.
Sometimes as a runner going into second base, you really don't have to make hard contact. Just let the second baseman know you're coming. A lot of times they rush their throw.
Make a lot of noise coming in.
Yeah. Juan Samuel, the batter. Hits a ground ball. Nice play by Langston. Score that one 1-3. And that'll do it for the Mets. Tim Wallach, the batter. He takes a strike from Frank Viola. Wallach batting .282, 12 home runs and 74 RBIs. He's also scored 74 runs. There's that big slow curve, misses for a ball. 1-1. Wallach, by the way, has had trouble with his knee this year. He played 130 consecutive games and didn't miss 4 in a row due to a injury to his right knee. He takes down and in 2-1.
Lifetime .261 hitter. He has 160 career home runs.
Swung on and missed. 2-2. He's one of the few Expos, Ralph, that when you ask about players with the Expos, will they stay or will they go, he likes playing in Montreal. Yet his name has been bandied about in trade talks.
Yeah, he's been up for a change of scenery.
Fouled out of play. I know it's amazing that the team that is trying to keep this guy and that guy, and the one guy that really would like to stay, they're talking about trading him.
Their big problem is trying to sign Mark Langston.
Oh yeah. Well, Mark Langston showed me some intestinal fortitude, I think. There's a ground ball to short. Should be an easy play. It's not an easy play as Tupple goes off the ground to make the grab. 1 down. I'm not sure if it's intestinal fortitude or not thinking, but Langston turned on a lot of money as you see that play again.
Unusual high throw by Elster at shortstop, who is extremely accurate with his throwing. went 88 consecutive games over a 2-year period without making an error at shortstop, a new record.
And with one man down, the batter will be Nelson Santavena. He's batting .251, 5 home runs and 29 RBIs. And he hits a fly ball to right field. Mark Carrion is there and makes the grab. 2 down. So the Expos have to sign Mark Langston. A few years ago, they balked at the contract Gary Carter had signed, Ralph, and Gary had some pretty good years up there. Came to New York and had some pretty good years here. I wonder if that same philosophy prevails in Montreal.
I don't think it prevails at this point. Montreal making an all-out effort to win this year, and when they got in the first place, they had acquired a lot of new players.
Here's a new one, Junior Noboa, and he takes a strike. 0-1.
Picked up Zane Smith, a left-handed pitcher from Atlanta. They got Mark Langston. They really went out to win.
Down low, 1-1. By the way, Noboa signed a professional contract at 16 years old. That's unusual today. Players from Latin America can do it, although I believe your high school class has to graduate. I know it does in this country. There's a chopper to Hojo, scored 5-3. And that'll do it for the Expos here in the city. You got that right. And the 2-0 pitch. Down low, 3-0. Jerome Holtzman of the Chicago Tribune once wrote a great book called No Cheering in the Press Box. But we're cheering for the Pirates in this press box.
St. Louis no score with Philadelphia after 1.5 innings.
And a 3-0 pitch. Ball 4. You see that white duck that almost flew in the booth?
Better call Ted Williams.
Jeez. Well, Tupple's on first base, and Gary Carter will be the batter. Speaking of Halls of Fame, Gary Carter, a guy who will get a long, hard look, and he's ready for the Hall.
304 career home runs, a lifetime batting average at .267. He's had trouble against the Expos, though. Only a .214 average with 9 home runs.
He takes a fastball for a strike. But, by the way, talking to Gary last night before the game, still unhappy that he didn't get a better shot this year, but that's part of the game. I mean, the manager has to make a decision who to play. He's got to win games, and like Davey said, he has to manage with his mind and not his heart. Breaking ball misses outside, 1-1.
Well, he really has no complaint. He's hitting .173, and Lyons and Sasser both hitting much better than he. And Lyons doing an outstanding job defensively, and of course Gary cannot run.
1-1 on Carter. Way inside, 2-1.
Off Langston up in Montreal. The last time Langston worked against the Mets, he hit a single off the fence in left field and just missed a home run. It was caught, but right against the fence by Raines.
Let's face it, the big concern about Gary has been his bat, because he can still catch. He blocks balls and catches foul balls at the best of them. He just took a pitch right there outside, 3-1.
He also calls an outstanding game.
And you know, Ralph, when you, of course, what's happened, if it was the old days and Gary was making X number of dollars instead of $2 million a year, I don't think there'd be any doubt whether or not the Mets would sign him.
I think Gary's got some life left in him.
I do too, because he still has good bat speed.
He's hit the ball hard lately.
3-1 pitch. Hits the ball off the end of the bat. Will it drop? Yes, a base hit for Gary Carter. And Timmy Tuffle on the move all the way to third base. Runners on the corners here at Shea. Nobody out.
Well, he didn't hit this one hard, but it drops in for a base hit, a broken bat base hit. Good running by Tuffles. He could see that that ball was not going to be caught, and he ends up at third. So the Mets has something going now. First and third, no one out. Carter, not a good swing there, but he gets the base hit.
So Gary Carter on first base. Tim Tuffle on third. Nobody out. Kevin Elster, the batter, batting .233, 8 home runs and 49 RBIs.
He is tied with Ed Basu for the most RBIs by a Mets shortstop in this season. So here a chance to have that record as the infield is playing back at short and second.
0-1 on Elster. He was 0 for 1 in last night's game. Trying to check his swing, but fouled the ball off. 0-2. Tell you that a day game after night game, that usually wakes you up when you're catching and somebody fouls the ball off and it hits you. That's a wake-up call.
That's a good. The bell has rung.
I believe Santavania did have that happen to him right there. And the 0-2 pitch. A looper into right field. Brooks makes the grab. Tuffle fakes home and Brooks gets the ball back in. So runners remain on the corners.
So once again the Mets leave that runner at third base with no one out or one out. It has really been their big problem this year, getting the runners in. Now it's left up to Frank Viola, who has done a pretty good job in his first chance to be a hitter. He's had 3 hits driven in 1 run. His first hit was against Oral Hershiser. First major league base hit.
I'll tell you what though, he's facing a nasty left-hander.
How about the squeeze play?
All of a sudden you embrace the bunt. I like that.
Well, if a guy's hitting 167, but the only problem here, this guy isn't easy to bunt.
No, he's not. I'd be bailing from the left side trying to bunt him.
And they're guarding against the possible squeeze right now.
And Langston goes to first.
Tuffle made a break up the line on the throw to first. Tuffle at third base, Carter at first. Carter's not going anywhere.
Swung on and fouled off. I'll tell you, usually it's a pitcher that does it to you. A pitcher will swing late. He's not comfortable, especially against a hard thrower. I'll tell you right now, that hurt. That's the second time he's been hit there already.
Chops the ball right down, gets on top of it. Boy.
He certainly did, Ralph. Now, you know, there are steel protective cups and they have the plastic. I recommend highly the steel.
From experience.
Oh yeah, I had mine broken right in half one time. I could have done a dissertation on that experience. This is a time in your life as a catcher you say, why didn't I play a different position?
But he wouldn't be here if he wasn't the catcher.
That's right. He's uncomfortable. Oh boy. Look at that. Picture's worth 1,000 words right there.
Maybe 1,000,000 right now.
And Nelson couldn't say what at that moment. And it could get worse because you still have the pitcher hitting. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And they go with the squeeze. Nice play. Good pitch out. Somebody knew something. Santavania's still flinching. Give a lot of credit to Santavania. He was happy to call the pitch out, though.
And the other half of that play is the fact that Carter was not able to go down to second. It's a pitch out, and they call the pitch outs from the dugout. And there's no chance at all for Tuffle. Viola should have tried to throw the bat at the ball or anything, hoping to foul it, because you're dead if you don't make contact. So Buck Rogers smelling that one out, and the Mets lose a valuable base runner.
0-2 on Viola with 2 outs. And that'll do it for Frank Viola and the Mets. Here in the bottom of the second. Not a
been against the Mets this year.
Takes inside 1-1. Or check that 2-0. Spike just signed a new contract with the Expos. Speaking of contracts, on our next show, Halls of Fame, we get a gentleman. Here's the 2-0 pitch. There's a strike, 2-1. We have a gentleman, Ralph, that was involved in one of the most celebrated holdouts of all time in baseball. Do you know who that was?
Well, it's either Sandy Koufax or Don Drysdale.
You're right. It was Don Drysdale. And there's a line drive in right field, base hit. So Spike Owen on first base.
They held out as a tandem, and neither would sign, at least originally, unless they both got what they wanted. They both were going to hold out for the season. As it turned out, Drysdale broke down.
Yeah, you know, it's a fascinating story. I won't tell you who gave them the idea, but you won't believe it when you see it. It happened in a restaurant in L.A. Buzzy Bavasi now says it was great publicity. Back then, I don't think he was too happy about it.
They were very unhappy about it. Walter O'Malley, the owner of the ball club, was then dealing, and Bavasi was the general manager.
By the way, that Halls of Fame show will be on September 28th at 9 p.m. here in New York. Mark Langston 1-0, batting 183. Speaking of contracts, Mark Langston turned down over $7 million, and there he bunts the ball foul.
Well, he should get at least that. He's got 11 hits this year.
You know, when you think about it, you mentioned Drysdale and Koufax. I believe they were holding out together for over $100,000 apiece. Mark Langston, here in 1989, turned down $7 million.
Not for 1 year.
No. But it was a couple of million for 1 year.
I believe it was a 3-year contract.
Yeah. He checks Spike Owen at first base. 1-1 on Mark Langston.
Game has changed considerably. It used to be that the hitters got the big money and the pitchers didn't. Now the pitchers are the ones who are getting the big money.
And a 1-1 pitch. Another ball bunted foul. 1-2. And what really has changed is relief pitchers are making the big money. I think what has helped organizations convince a pitcher to go to the bullpen and spend his career working out of the bullpen is, number one, money. And I think it's also helped that they've created that award, the Roll-Age Relief Man Award. It gives relief pitchers, as you look at Jeff Innes, Jeff Musselman, it gives a pitcher an opportunity to get his own award. And they check Owen at first base. In fact, some pitchers have it in their contracts.
Bruce Sutter had the first big relief pitcher's contract, over a couple $1 million, and he made about 100 pitches a year. 100 innings pitched a year, I should say.
Well, Mark Langston goes down. 1 out. Took a home run hitter swing right there.
He's a good athlete.
You're looking at a real good athlete right there. Number 30, Tim Raines. He flied to left field, or checked at the center field his first time up. So he's 0 for 1.
Montreal had one of the outstanding relief pitchers, a fellow named Marshall.
Boy, he was out. He did a great job.
He's the only man to pitch over 100 innings in both leagues as a relief pitcher.
Down low to Tim Raines. 1-0. He did have a magnificent career as a relief pitcher. I think shortly now you're going to see more relief pitchers going into the Hall of Fame. Hoyt Wilhelm's the only one in it. Raleigh Fingers will probably be next. And the 1-0 pitch to Raines, down low. 2-0.
Carter with the good hands handling that pitch. He still receives well.
Spike Owen looking over for a sign. Montreal historically has been running a lot against the Mets when Gary's catching.
They lead the league in stolen bases. That's really a surprise.
Well, it's 3-0 right now on Raines.
152 stolen bases, and they lead the league. Cardinals, for the first time this year, will steal less than 200 in 7 years. They've had over 200 stolen bases 7 consecutive years. They won't make it this year.
How about that graphic? Raines hitting much better on the road than at home. Plays on the artificial turf at home. There's a strike, 3-1. By the way, Raines has stolen 38 out of 47 this year. He's the rock of the franchise up there in Montreal.
He has the best stolen base percentage in baseball history, 87%.
In the 3-1 pitch, there goes the runner, fouled back. 3-2.
Raines with 582 stolen bases.
Owen only has 3.
Totally 55. 7-year veteran. Raines is in his 10th year in the major leagues with a lifetime average of 305.
Three and 2 on Tim Raines. Down low, ball 4. Runners now on first and second. Keep in mind we're in the top of the 3rd inning. It's 1-0 in New York, and at Wrigley Field in Chicago it's the bottom of the 3rd, and it's 2-0 Pittsburgh.
Phillies got a run and they lead St. Louis 1-0 after 2.5.
They showed an interesting graphic during a pregame show. Maybe Joe O'Rourke, Ellen Rubinoff can throw it up again about the month of September under Davey Johnson. This is the first time the Mets have lost under Davey during the month of September. And Marcus Grissom, who's 0 for 1, takes a strike. And the 0-1 pitch. Popped foul and out of play. 0-2. Look at this stat right here.
6 years and the first time that he has a losing record at this point anyway. He could make it a winning record in '89 with a real surge at the finish of the season.
Tell you one thing, he's been hammered over the years.
Well, no one has a better record than he has in the last 6 years in the major leagues.
You'd never know it. 0-2 on Grissom. Slow curveball, and it's in foul territory. So, still 0-2, 1 man down. Runners on first and second. There's Davey Johnson. He never really talks about his frustration, though. I'm sure there's a lot of it. (0-2) on Marcus Grissom. Marcus batting .348 since being recalled. Down and in. 1-2. Day-night doubleheaders, like the Red Sox. There's a fly ball right field. Oh, Mark Carrion is there, makes the grab. 2 down.
Arrived. It was warm before the game. Now it is down to being chilly.
The batter's Andres Galarraga. He's used to the hot weather, and he takes a strike. 0-1.
Started out at 80 degrees today, and now that's 58 on there.
0-1 on Galarraga. Takes down low. 1-1. Galarraga has 12 RBIs in his last 14 games. You got to watch a guy like that when he's in a hot streak. He pops the ball up and out of play. 1-2. That changeup is something else, isn't it, Ralph?
He has great motion with it, and it acts a little like a screwball dropping down and away from a right-hand batter. And they, I guess, have allowed pitchers to blow on their hands because it has gotten that cool here while you're on the mound.
Some of the fans covering up. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Another foul ball. Talking to Don Zimmer after Viola pitched against the Chicago Cubs on Monday night, and Don Zimmer said he could not believe only one of his players decided to go to the plate and look for the changeup from Frank Viola. And that was Luis Salazar.
And he hit a home run.
Yeah. You're going to get it. It's his bread and butter pitch. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and there's a fastball driving Galarraga off the plate. So it's now 2-2 with 2 out. You don't want Galarraga to hit the ball over the wall. Ralph, I'm going to be shaking my fingers calling that changeup right now.
Well, he set it up with the fastball inside.
See what happens. 2-2 pitch. It's another fastball. He fouls the ball on a play.
He would have got me.
Yeah.
I'd been looking changeup right there.
I don't like those guys that have power to hit the ball over the wall. And if you're that big and strong and you're a home run hitter, I'd rather you supply your own power if a guy has a great changeup like Viola.
But Galarraga likes the ball away. If you can get in on his hands with a fastball around the letters, you can get to him. He struck out 151 times.
So he's probably missed a few fastballs. He's 1 for 1 today. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Down and in. 3-2.
Now would be the time for the changeup. Galarraga, the first player in Major League history to lead the league in hits and strikeouts, and that was last year.
3-2, 2 outs. Top of the third, 1-0 Mets. There's the change, fouled off.
And he was lucky to get the end of the bat on that ball, as he was totally fooled. You know, Galarraga was the third player in Major League history to hit 300 and strike out 150 or more times. He's really fooled with this pitch, and he is lucky to get a piece of it. Dick Allen and Bobby Bonds both did what Galarraga did.
Well, it's starting to rain hard here. There go the runners down low. Ball 4. Bases are loaded with Expos. And the fans will head for cover.
Right fielder.
2 walks.
It's a fall day in New York, Ralph.
It was a summer day about 2 hours ago. 2 walks on 3-2 pitches after a single by Spike Owen. The bases loaded, and Hubie Brooks the batter with 2 men out.
So Hubie Brooks, who over the years has hammered his former mates, batting against Frank Viola with 2 men down. And there's a drive to left field, and the Expos have the lead. Home run by Hubie Brooks, 4-1 Montreal. Grand slam for Hubie Brooks.
5th home run given up by Frank Viola this year. For Hubie Brooks, his 13th home run this season and his 102nd home run in his major league career. Grand slam home run, 1 fastball too many. His 6th career grand slam home run.
And there's a strike to Tim Wallach, who's 0 for 1. So Hubie Brooks continues to hammer the Mets. There's the changeup, swung and a missed, 0-2. Hubie Brooks, a grand slam home run for the ex-Met. Hammered the ball. It's now 0-2 on Tim Wallach, who leads the National League with 41 doubles. Every year he's in the top 5 in doubles. And he takes strike 3. But the Expos struck back. Here in the top of the third, a grand slam off the bat of Hubie Brooks. Hubie's happy, but Tim Wallach might get thrown out of his ball game. We played 2.5 here at Shea. The fans are booing as the Mets leave the field. Now Wallach throws his helmet. We'll be back. We'll see if Tim will. It's 4-1 Montreal.
Night, Seattle and Kansas City, Chicago and Texas.
And Bruce Fleming got a jacket to wear between innings and a sweater. So it's cold here at Shea. And the batter has been hot. Greg Jeffries, 1-0 on the Mets second baseman. 2-0. There was some talk that the Mets had Mark Langston's pitches last time they faced him.
There's also been talk that they have Frank Viola's pitches.
Down low to Jeffries, 3-0. I think Greg Jeffries has been hot over his last 18 games. He's batting .366. Takes a strike. He also has 6 home runs and 12 RBIs. He hit a long home run his first time up here today. Hit a home run last night. Pops this ball up. Noboa, the second baseman, calling for it, and he makes the grab. 1 down. Junior Noboa, signed at 16 years old. He's now 24. The Expos are really giving him a shot at second base. Damaso Garcia was released when the Mets were in town a week ago.
Told him to go home. That's not a good sign.
Smart carrier takes a ball up high. 1-0. Yeah, when the ball club tells you to go home and the season's not over, you got a problem. 1-0 pitch. Down low. 2-0. Carrion walked his first time up. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Pops it up and out of play. Two balls and 1 strike on Mark Carrion. 1 man down. 4-1. The Expos on top of the Mets. Good pitch right there.
Mets have come back to win ball games in which they were behind 33 times this year. Last year they came back to win 45 games when they were behind.
2-2 pitch. Breaking ball is lofted into right field, but Brooks is there and makes the grab. 2 down. Just tuned in. The Expos are on top of the Mets 4-1. They scored 4 runs in a grand slam by number 7, Ubi Brooks. No matter how long you're away from your former team, when they trade you away, boy, does that feel good to hit a home run against the team that traded you away.
Ubi would love to get back to New York.
Oh, the 2 players that come to mind that really left their hearts in New York, Ubi Brooks and Kevin Mitchell. And they tell people. Down low to Howard Johnson, ball 1.
Ubi is a free agent after this year, so he'll have a choice of where he wants to play.
Howard Johnson, by the way, hit his 38th double on Tuesday. It's a new Mets record for doubles. Takes a strike. He's 0-1 in this game. He struck out.
And he set that record last night with a 2-base hit.
One and one on Hojo. There's 39 doubles on the year. He lost the ball into right field. Ubi Brooks is there and makes the grab for out number 3.
Francis Nelson Santavena to lead it off. Mets have fallen behind 4-1 on a grand slam home run by Ubi Brooks. Santavena, his first time up, flew out to Mark Carrion. He's popped up out of play. Kind of a wet and dreary day here at Shea, Fran.
Yeah, I'll tell you, everything got a little bit cooler after Ubi Brooks hit that home run.
Every place but the Expo dugout chilled off. No balls in the strike to Nelson Santavena. Fouled right back at us, just a little bit below. You didn't even panic.
Yeah, I'm relaxed today. Wind
has been blowing all day. As Fran was saying earlier, it has chilled off quite a bit here at Shea. Wind blowing firmly. Just outside, a ball and 2 strikes.
Maybe Brooks hit that rocket to left field. How about the home run Jeffries hit?
Jeffries crushed his. Ubi Brooks didn't exactly just tap it.
No, he didn't.
Trying for the inside corner. Frank Viola just misses. It's 2-2. Off-speed pitch, grounder to Elster, a little slow roller to toss, and he gets the slow-running Santavenia easily. How many times do you think they made that statement about me? They got the slow-running stomp going to first. I just thought about that.
That ball hit off the end of the bat. Now watch Elster. Great play right here. Santavenia, when you're running to first base and you have a feeling that if I can just generate a little bit more speed, I have an infield hit, but you know deep down in your heart you don't, it's depressing.
That ball grounded foul. Junior Naboa trying to impress the Montreal Expos and Butch Rogers, trying to get a job for 1990. You see one of the ball girls out here at Shea. Here comes Viola. Up and in. 1-1. Still a slight little drizzle here. Lots of people with their blue Met raincoats on. It's a different promotion.
That's right.
Today was ski cap day.
A lot of ski caps in the stands too.
Fly ball to right. Carry on. A couple of moves at it. He's there now. 2 down. It's in 51 at bats for Spike Owen against the New York Mets this year, and 9 RBIs. That's all for a guy in the number 8 slot. Takes ball 1. He has 76 walks this season, 25 of them intentionally. And the Expos have been so pleased by his performance that they have extended his contract through 1992. 3-year extension.
Well, they
which
say,
particularly pleased Mrs. Spike Owen.
I'll bet. They say that Spike was the MVP up through the All-Star break. Last year, Jody Reed ran him out of Boston.
Line drive, base hit to left. He does it again.
The Expos felt that the reason they would give the MVP award to Spike Owen is from the 6th inning on, he was very dependable. When Luis Rivera played shortstop in Montreal, they said from the 6th inning on, he was undependable. Cost him a lot of games. Here's Spike Owen hammering the ball into left field. Boy, that's a good swing. He's not going to hit home runs. He didn't have a big follow through. He's not looking for home runs. He wants to put the ball in play.
Well, he had that one big 3-run home run in Montreal, hitting left-handed.
He has 6 home runs in the year.
Mark Langston, pretty good athlete at the plate. Fouls it straight back. Langston 11 hits in 61 tries. He does have 24 strikeouts though in his first year as a hitter. Off-speed pitch. Elster to second, gets the lead runner. 4-0. You see one of those Mets rain gear. Good curveball by Langston. McReynolds has always liked to hit against Montreal. He's a .300 lifetime hitter. 21 lifetime home runs against the Expos. Ball outside. This guy wants to wear it all. He's got the jacket, the ski cap, and a cap.
And eating ice cream. How about that?
It's all right. Kids eat ice cream in the dead of winter.
What do you mean, kids?
You're right. The ball fouled out of play. A ball and 2 strikes. McReynolds out on a fielder's choice his first time up in the first inning. Has had 4 hits in 7 at-bats against Langston this year. Breaking ball, 2-2.
What is that?
Someone has a Mets figurine hanging from a shoestring here. Full count to McReynolds. Is that a semi-effigy?
It's a little one, isn't it? Look at that. That is funny.
Not sure about that one. Full count. McReynolds waiting. Langston ready to bring it. And he does. Hard ground ball to short. Right through the legs of Spike Owen. McReynolds halfway now. He decides to run. Here's the throw. And McReynolds makes second base.
Well, I just got through saying how reliable Spike Owen has been from the 6th inning on. Thank the Lord, it's only the 4th. A break for the Mets. This ball's hit hard right at Spike Owen. It should be an out. Ball got underneath his glove.
Didn't stay down on it.
It's easier to come up than it is to go down, but he hustles after it, and McReynolds hustles into second base.
And the guy that didn't hustle on that play was Timmy Raines. It was too much of an imposition for him to come in hard on a ground ball. That's why McReynolds made second base. You know, you're making $2 million plus a year. You shouldn't have to run in and back up your shortstop. Give me a break. I hate to see that stuff. Ball 1 to Juan Samuel. Make it 2.
I've never heard a coach or a manager tell an outfielder every time a ball is hit be on the move, but pretty much that should be the policy.
Absolutely, that's your job.
Ball hit, back up to second. One thing I can never understand is a catcher throwing a ball in the center field, a runner sliding into second base could go up and go to third, get up and go to third.
There's a fly ball deep right center. Grissom there, drops the ball. He drops the ball. Samuel at second. They're holding McReynolds up, who is tagging at second base. You can't begrudge McReynolds tagging at second. There was nobody out. So a second big break on an error, followed by an error.
If you watch Grissom all the way, he went after the ball tentatively. We've mentioned the outfield today. The wind might play a factor. Here it does. Watch Grissom go back. I'll guarantee you the wind was playing tricks with that ball. Just didn't catch him. It's an error on Grissom.
Hit him in a bad spot.
Yeah, the glove.
You're looking at the wind. Those flags are blowing hard toward left. But as evidenced by many a field goal kicker here, when the Jets used to be here at Shea, there's no telling which way the wind is blowing down on the field. Seems to be drifting toward left extremely hard. Tuffle takes a strike.
Look at all the paper out there in left field. That's where the wind's blowing.
It's blowing out there.
But this is not a good day for outfielders with the way the wind is blowing.
Mets in a situation with men on second and third, nobody out. 2 chances here. Ground ball foul at third. 0-2. There've been a lot of areas the Mets have really not hit a good year in. This is probably one of the most important and one of the worst, and that is getting runs in from third base with less than 2 outs. It's been a pathetic year for them that way. A wasted fastball, just showing him a little heat up and out.
This is a situation if the Mets don't score, it's going to be tough to come back against Langston. Nobody out, runners on second and third. As Rusty mentioned, the Mets really struggled this year in driving in these runs.
Breaking ball out of the strike zone, 2-2. Well, the Expos have done all they can to try to help the Mets get back in this one. An error by the shortstop, Spike Owen. McReynolds taking second on the play. And then an error by Grissom in center. Grissom was grimacing.
Yes, he was.
After he dropped that ball.
You could tell just the way he was chasing after that ball. He was so tentative. And he's considered a good defensive center fielder, but not there.
There is no such thing as an easy out today if it's in the air. Breaking ball, close. Home plate umpire Dana DeMuth says ball 3.
And Tim says, thank you. Tim Tuppo has a feeling deep down in his heart he caught a break.
But when you catch a break, you got to take advantage of it. We'll see what happens. Breaking ball, ball 4. Langston making a decision with nobody out that he was not going to give Tuffle a fastball. He'd rather face Carter, Elster, and Viola. Gary obviously a good double play hitter. His last time up though, he shot a little flare in the right center for a single.
Plus he also hit the ball very hard against Langston last Sunday.
Well, the kid has a lot of things he wants to prove and not much time to do it in. Line drive, left center, base hit. In comes McReynolds, Samwell following, Carter stopping at first, Tuffle at third, 4-3.
Here it is again, Carter proving something right here, picking up a base hit against his former teammates, driving in 2 big runs. And as Rusty mentioned, the Mets didn't do that this year. And Gary getting the job done.
And after being much maligned by the fans here, he got a little support, a big cheer, and a Gary call.
Gary is very unhappy. I mentioned before the game last night. He told me that, well, I'll tell you, you don't see Gary upset too often, but the way he expressed himself to me is he felt he didn't get the opportunity he needed after coming back from surgery. But hey, Davey has to make a decision. You have to go with somebody you think can help the club.
Elster takes ball 2.
I think one of the toughest decisions for a manager is how to handle a player, especially a big name player who's been productive over the years, when his career is in jeopardy, when you have doubts about his ability.
No doubt that's a true statement, Fran. There you see ball 3. Langston, after the hit by Carter, 3 straight balls. Second base is open. He wants to pitch to Viola and go for the strikeout. Nope, he catches the outside corner. 3-1. Mets have played extremely well here at Shea. In fact, against the East, they're 27-13 at Shea Stadium. It's on the road that the Mets have suffered terribly. 3-1. Nobody out. Men on first and third. Fly ball to center. Looks like it's deep enough. Tuffle tagging. Here comes a throw from Grissom. It's wide. It hits the mound, and it's going to go back. Carter going to second. So the 3rd error of the inning, and the Mets have tied it up. You're looking at Gary Carter.
Here it is again. Grissom making the catch. Strong throw, but offline. Ball hits the mound. Ball bounces over Langston's head and also the catcher's head, but Langston should have been behind home plate.
He should have been behind home plate, and Andres Galarraga should have cut that ball off. He saw it tailing as much as it was. It had no chance either way to get Tuffle at the plate. So what he's allowed is Carter to go to second. They appeal at third base. Bruce Fremming says, no deal. That is the 50th RBI of the season for the shortstop Kevin Elster. That sets a new Mets record. You see a strike to Viola. It's been a long time coming. Kevin's been sitting on 49 for a while. He was tied with Ed Brasseau for the Mets all-time shortstop record for RBIs. He is now in a class by himself. Kind of a emergency hack by Viola, but he did make contact.
That's why the catcher gets hit with foul tips from the pitcher when he's batting.
Young man made a nice play, getting a few high fives, a few low fives. And he will have something to talk about. That'll be show and tell at school. Viola fouls it straight back. This is not a pleasant experience for Frank.
I might wager a bet that Frank will hit a foul tip off of Nelson Santapena again. Of course, that bet would only encompass maybe a baseball. You know what I mean?
This is not the year for that.
No, no.
There's a ball and 2 strikes.
I'm going to tell you right now, the way Frank's swinging that bat, Nelson better turn around and catch backwards.
A few balloons going across. There they go. Hitting foul territory. Swirling wind at Shea. Frank gets a little piece of the breaking ball.
Here's a pitcher fouling the ball back. You know it's coming.
Santavena waiting.
He's saying, don't swing, please. Oh! And almost got him again. He's been hit there twice.
3 and you're down and out.
Oh, boy. And this at bat's not over yet.
Viola guarding the dish. Makes contact again. He may need a new stick.
Nah, just use the same one, even if it's cracked.
Player on the left of your screen is Tommy Harper. Tommy Harper, a fine player.
Yes, he
Cincinnati and Boston.
I'll tell you, he took the biggest lead I've ever seen taken by a base runner.
He was an aggressive, good player. There it is, strike 3. Frankie standing there checking the plate out. The only thing you should say is, please give me that pitch too.
Second baseman, Greg Jeffrey.
That home run was number 11 for Greg Jeffries.
His 53rd RBI and pushed him up over 260 again. A lot of people thought that number to be totally out of reach for young Jeffries this year. What a tremendous second half of the season he has had.
Well, he battled against all odds. Like he said, when he made it out, if he threw his helmet, everybody said, just a cocky rookie. And if he didn't throw his helmet, they said, well, he doesn't care.
That's not true. I
What's
think
not
he
true?
was.
He said it.
Well, I mean, he may have said it. If he doesn't throw his helmet, they don't care. But that's just his interpretation.
He said that he couldn't do anything right. Whatever he did was second guess, and he used the example of when he made it out.
Well, I don't recall people ever saying anything like that. If he is an interpretation of that, that's his interpretation. Again, he's really done a remarkable job coming back. You see Carter leading off second. Jeffries fouls it off 1-1.
Well, if you recall, in San Diego, when the lineup was put up and somebody wrote over Greg Jeffries' name, aren't we trying to win?
It was almost from that point on, Fran, that he came into his own this year.
He should get some votes for Rookie of the Year.
I'm sure he will. Breaking ball out of the strike zone, 2 balls and a strike.
The only problem is, like Ralph and I were talking about before, he got a lot of negative publicity for about 3 months. It's going to be tough. A lot of people will remember the negative publicity as you look at Gary Carter.
His biggest problem is Jerome Walton hitting 300.
I think the thing that helped Jerome Walton, a 30-game hitting streak. He got a lot of positive publicity out of that.
Well, he should have.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
That's what you call a protective bubble. I think they got some air in that.
Yeah,
thing.
I know. I was going to say.
Jeffries fouling it off. You see Gary Carter's arm in the screen. Sometimes the guy at second base tries to help the hitter out by telling him location. Carter lifting his hand up towards second base, kind of saying something to Jeffries that the ball might be outside. But that time you saw Centavania talking to the pitcher. That's what that's about. He faked outside and then he moved inside. So a little gamesmanship going on right now. Pitcher giving the sign, and he tries to give a little location where he wants it. You see him sitting outside now, a little bit back inside. Breaking ball.
And you saw Gary pointing towards second base, but geez, I'll tell you, Rusty, that's kind of evident to what Gary's doing. Usually you're more subtle. Sometimes what you do is you grab a hold of your shoulders. We used to grab the shoulder, and then
you can look either way.
Yeah, look either way. Like Gary's Gary's putting his finger up, pointing.
Well, he'll probably continue to do it now to make it seem as though he was not doing anything. It's a little weak move that time. Shot, base hit. Carter's going to score. Jeffries going for two. Big high throw by Raines. A double and an RBI. The Mets lead 5-4.
Oh, this kid's on fire. The little big man doing it again. He smokes this ball in the left field. Gary Carter scoring easily. And Tim Raines throwing the ball from the corner, and Jeffries in the second base with a double.
He's going to bring up Mark Carrion. Still nobody warming for the Expos.
Jeffries with 27 doubles now.
Buck Rogers taking it all in, not happily. Pittsburgh and Chicago all tied up in the bottom of the fifth inning. St. Louis is ahead 7-3. They're at home against Philly. That's in the top of the fifth. Off speed pitch, strike call, 1-1. This is the 8th Met to go to the plate in this inning. Ball outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 down. See, he's pitched into the 7th inning 14 of his 15 starts. Rogers giving him a real good chance to do it here again. 2-2. So we said no one warming in the bullpen. Remember, we're in the bottom of the 4th inning. This is not an official game yet. Hurricane Hugo and its side effects have been around Shea last night and today, but has not really halted play. We hope that continues. Shot down the left field line. That's going to score Jeffries. There goes Carrion trying for 2, and a terrible throw. I mean, terrible throw by Tim Raines. Goodness gracious, what was he trying to do?
Well, as we said, the wind blowing the left field, Raines throwing the ball into the wind. The ball took off like a frisbee. Here it is again, right down the left field line, and Jeffries scores easily, and Tim Raines gets the ball back in and over through second base. So Mark Carrion on second base with a double, his 5th double of the year.
Larry Bernarth going out to talk to Langston. They are trying to get someone warm in the bullpen.
Here it is again. Now watch Tim Raines go over. He hustles over, throws the ball into the wind, and it looked like a frisbee. The ball went right over the second baseman Noboa's head, backed up wisely by Galarraga. We mentioned earlier in the game how the conditions in the outfield might play a role in this ball game. We've seen a ball dropped in center field, and Tim Raines has had to throw 2 balls into the wind, getting it back into second base.
Howard Johnson with Carrion at second. The Mets have scored 5 in the bottom of the 4th. Off speed pitch, ball 1. Sure, there haven't been too many times in his career that Mark Langston has had 9 guys go to the plate in 1 inning. Howard takes ball 2. Van 3-0. Howard Johnson takes ball 4. So the Mets. You see Mark carry on at second. Howard Johnson at first. Strike 1. Mets leading the league in home runs. That lead extended by Jeffries in the first inning. Of course, you'd give it up in the second for the championship. Side on, base hit to right. Here comes carry on. Howard Johnson the third, and there was nobody at second base for a while. UB Brooks watching the runner McReynolds go around first pretty far, but finally Spike Owen came over. 7-4 Mets.
And Kevin McReynolds going the other way, hitting the ball on the button. Hubie Brooks coming in, and Howard Johnson with real good speed, making it easily to third. You can see Hubie telling somebody, get over to second base. Spike Owen, as the cutoff man, had a retreat to second base.
Still 2 down. Now men on first and third. Juan Samuel at the plate. Thompson up and in. Ground ball to short. Owen up with it to second. And the Mets are finally out in the bottom of the 4th inning. But after a couple of errors and 6 runs, the Mets lead 7-4. That was in the top of the 3rd. Ground ball to second. Jeffries, nice play up, can't get it. He had a tough guy to get anyway in Tim Raines, and that's a base hit.
Yeah, once you hit the ground, forget it.
For the afternoon. That ball just foul at third.
Was it foul?
It was close.
Let's take a look. Oh, there's a great angle.
Good shot, guys. Close play.
Yeah, close.
You see Bruce Fromming, not a doubt in his mind.
Bruce, a fine umpire.
Yes, he is. Back to the pitcher. The lead throw. Trying to get Grissom. Big double play. 2 fast runners, and the Mets turn it. Lots of mistakes in that big inning for the Mets. One, as we mentioned, was Galarraga not cutting off a throw that had no chance to get the runner. It allowed another base runner to go 90 feet. One and one to the big cat, the Grand Gateau. Ball inside, 2 balls and a strike. Galarraga, his first time up, hit a hard line drive double to right center. This ball foul at third. 2-2. He walked and scored in the third. Expos having lost 4 of their last 5 and 11 of their last 15. Frank Viola would like to add another one to it. Off-speed curveball, full count. Last year the Mets kind of dominated the Expos. They won 12 of the 18 games. This year, coming into this game, they're 8-8. As you look at an orange balloon, I like those orange colors.
I can tell.
Ground ball. Jeffrey's going to have a tough play here. Here comes the throw, and he cannot get Galarraga. Base hit.
here's Jeffries moving into the hole. Loving the ball. Threw the ball off balance. I'm surprised.
Right fielder.
Looked like he had time. It looked like his position was there to throw with balance. But he's still learning that position.
Galarraga, decent speed for a big man. I don't think he would have gotten him anywhere.
No, but I was kind of surprised he threw off balance.
Brings up Hubie Brooks. 4 RBIs in one swing of the bat.
Hubie hit a fastball for the home run. I think it would behoove Hubie to sit on that straight changeup. He's going to get it. He might still get fooled with the fastball.
Line drive, base hit to left field. That one did not fool him at all.
Well, that was a straight changeup.
Third baseman Tim Wallach.
When you were playing, did you think that good for
No,
him?
not at all. Never. I'll tell you, it's a lot easier to think up here. Did you notice that? No doubt about it.
With 2 down, the tying run comes to the plate. The guys of Tim Wallach. Wallach very disappointed in the call by home plate up by Dana DeMuth last time. Wallach, a very quiet guy. You hardly ever see him get mad. He was really disturbed. Strike one.
You know, come to think of this change, it might behoove all hitters on the Expo club. The real thunder to look for the changeup, and having the changeup maybe take it away from Frank Viola, because you're going to get it. It's his bread and butter pitch.
Viola, like any good left-handed pitcher, has to pitch inside to those right-handed hitters. There you see it right there. You gotta pitch the right-handed hitters hard inside if you're going to get away with that.
Think Wallach got around on that fastball?
I'm not sure. Like they took the camera guys and the ground crew. Everybody was bailing. Yeah, throw that towel up. Let's go.
Guys from NBC pumping the game into Pittsburgh and Chicago from Shea Stadium today.
No balls, 2 strikes to Wallach. We'll see what kind of a plate Dana DeMuth has for Tim. Carter scoops it out of the dirt. A ball and 2 strikes.
Well, we saw Wallach pull that fastball into the dugout.
He definitely was not looking breaking ball or changeup.
Okay, you're an outfielder. You've been second guessing pitchers and catchers your whole career. What would you call here?
What would I call?
Yeah.
On a 1 and 2 count, I'd throw him an off-speed pitch, not a strike.
Okay.
It's not a bad pitch there, though. He decided he wanted to waste it.
Typical outfielder. So the pitcher wasted the fastball. How about a straight changeup now?
That's what you would normally expect.
So you're sitting on a straight changeup at 2 and 2 as it's 56 degrees. Too cold to hit a straight changeup.
There it is, and he gets a single. It's going to drive in 1 run. McReynolds cuts it off. Here comes Brooks to third, and they hold Wallach at first with a single.
Wow. Tim Wallach still on first base. Of course, he's hurt his leg this year, but he jumped on that changeup.
Got to be looking for it after the previous pitch. Got to at least have it in the back of your mind. Wallach's knee caused him to miss a few games. That's why you did not see him try to get to second base.
Here it is again. Wallach going out and slapping the ball into left field. And Andres Galarraga scoring easily. Ball going into second base. Wallach on first. Here comes Mel Stottlemyre. 7-5 right now. By the way, that game at Wrigley Field in Chicago, it's in the bottom of the 6th inning. They're all tied at 2. In St. Louis, they're in the top of the 6th inning. The Phillies are losing to the Cardinals 7-3. And here at Shea Stadium, it's 7-5 Mets, and we're in the top of the 5th.
Maybe Johnson sending Mel Stottlemyre out to talk to Viola. Give his bullpen a little time to loosen up. Nelson Santaveno for 2 to face Viola. 7-5. Men on first and third, 2 down. And this pitcher's battle has ceased.
All right, back off, back off. So we were wrong, billing it a pitcher's duel.
Wild pitch by Viola, 7-6. Tying run goes to second. Second time a wild pitch has scored a run for Frank Viola. It's the third wild pitch of the season for him. Very strange game, and we're still in the top of the fifth. Wallach cannot run. The outfielders have to remember that. Ball 2. He might be bouncing around a little bit at second base, but he is not running well at all. Two balls, no strikes, and the wind is now blowing toward right field. It's crazy out here today. Hard ground ball. Ball almost hits Wallach. Elster makes a nice play on it. Throws out Santavena at first base. But the Expos in the top of the fifth have scored 2 runs, and it's now Mets 7, the Expos 6. We'll be back. Bottom of the fifth. Tim Tuffle, Gary Carter.
And here's that ground ball to end the last inning. Now watch the ball almost hit Wallach, and we'll see if we continue on. Now this is a tough play for Elster. Watch it. The ball almost goes underneath the glove, but he's able to glove it and make the throw.
Good play by Elster, having been blocked out. Rich Thompson facing Tuffle, strike 1. Tuffle has walked both times up. Was out on an attempted squeeze play by Davy Johnson in the second, and then walked and scored in the fourth. High fly ball deep. Ball's carrying well. Home run. Tim Tuffle.
Oh, here's that home run. Timmy Tuffle hitting the ball off Rich Thompson over the left center field wall. As Rusty mentioned, the wind really blowing out the left field, but that ball is hit very well. So this is no longer a pitcher's duel.
Tim Raines made a pretty good effort there. Jumped up high on the wall, boosted himself up, but for naught. A very happy Tim Tuffle. Carter takes a breaking ball in. Ball 2. Gary, a couple of singles, a run scored, and 2 RBIs. Hard ground ball called foul. Close play.
You know, Rusty, I mentioned Rich Thompson being a classmate, or I should say a teammate of Mike Ryan, who was director of broadcasting here at Shea Stadium at Amherst College. Also, John Cerruti, a pitcher with Toronto Blue Jays, is another guy who was on a team. He's the farm director of the Montreal Expos, a young man named Dan Duquette.
Yeah.
So Amherst College, well represented in baseball today.
Swing and a miss by Carter, 2-2.
Greg Jeffries obviously in pain. We'll have to find out what's going on. We might have Greg on the post-game show. Unless there's a telephone in that towel.
Somebody must have been talking awfully loud and hard. Ball in the dirt, full count to Gary Carter. Kevin Elster, the new record holder for RBIs by a shortstop on the New York Mets in the on-deck circle. Carter, fly ball, not hit well though. He was jammed. In comes Raines. 1 out. Brings up Kevin Elster. Got that big 50th RBI on a sacrifice fly.
It's almost like Greg has an earache.
Something's bothering him.
Now we hear that he had cotton in his ear earlier.
Whatever is in his ear, he should keep it. He's swinging the bat great.
That's right, even if it's an earache.
Good breaking ball to Elster, strike one. Jeffries led off the game with a home run, drove in another run with a double in the fourth. Popped out of play by Kevin Elster. No balls, 2 strikes. And that's going to be it for Viola. Tom O'Malley in the on-deck circle. Frankie V pitched 5 full innings. There's a ball outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He's given up 6 runs and 8 hits. Ball way outside. 2-2. Up until the game in Chicago, Viola, even though he had been touched up for a few runs in that one game, that was, I think it was against San Diego, he had a number of quail type, parachute type hits, swinging bunts. Here's a pop up. Junior Noboa looking at it, but Brooks calling and making the play. 2 down. His last time out in Chicago, one of the first times he has really struggled with his control.
Batting for Frank Viola, number 27, Tom O'Malley.
And O'Malley has been announced. If you haven't heard, O'Malley having a great season in Tidewater, voted the most valuable player in the International League this year. And Jeffries is in the on-deck circle, so whatever was bothering him is not going to stop him from playing. Tailing fastball, ball 1.
Tom O'Malley, a guy who had a cup of coffee with the Giants, the Orioles, and fighting his way back to the major leagues. He'll get a shot in the major leagues next year with somebody.
Tailing fastball, just catching that inside corner. 1-1. It's Wally Whitehurst warming for the Mets. Two balls and a strike, 2 down. Hard ground ball in the hole, base hit for Tom O'Malley. So O'Malley now hitting .500 as a pinch hitter. Jeffries will come up. There's a pinch runner coming out. Thornton for O'Malley. With 2 down, Jeffries will try to get him to run.
Please. Running for Tom O'Malley, number 4, Lou Thornton.
Lou Thornton has scored a couple of good runs for the Mets. You see Jeffries still fooling around with that ear. Two for 3, 2 RBIs, a couple of runs scored. Pitch out, no good.
It's really interesting watching Jeffries hit. He's really a throwback. And of course, Ralph kind of loves the way he hits, the way he opens up with the hips. He opened up his first time up and hit a ball a mile.
That was as a right-handed hitter. He has switched over. Mark Langston gave up that big home run. In fact, Langston probably had one of the toughest outings of his career. Thornton diving back in. Rich Thompson Good quick move to first base. Another throw over. This has not been what you call a rapidly moving game.
Well, he's really being troubled by that right ear. Tough though, he cannot leave the ball game.
Another pitch out.
They'd rather have to throw Thornton out at second base or pick him off of first rather than pitch to Jeffries. Tell you, they're in a hole now, 2-0, 2 pitch outs in a row.
Sometimes Bob Rogers gets a little too carried away with all that stuff.
Miles will do it again.
He wasn't going. This time he throws a strike. 2 balls, 1 strike. This is the pitch that if a manager's going to pitch out the first 2 pitches, if you're going to run, you might as well send him on a 2 ball, 1 strike count.
I've seen 2 pitch outs in a row, but I've never seen 3.
He's not going. Jeffries reaching out. Not a good swing for the count. It's 2-2 now. You see in the last 19 games, 28 hits and 76 at bats. Lots of time by Thompson. He steps off. Jeffries staying in, waiting. Well, they got it together. Thornton a decent lead at first base. He's not going. Jeffries lofts a little fly to left center. In comes Raines. Makes the play and ends this inning for the Expos. Argument going on in Chicago. Both managers, Leland and Zimmer, on the field. Something to do with the count to one of the hitters. It was a pretty good argument.
And the Pirates are playing the game under protest.
No balls and a strike to Junior Noboa. 1-1. Ground ball to first. Nice play, knocked down by Tuffle. Cannot hold on. Getting to the ball, moved well, and he struggled holding on. Whitehurst got over to cover, but Tuffle couldn't get a handle on it.
E3.
Shortstop, Spike Owen.
So an error for Tim Tuffle.
And here it is again. You be the official scorer. Would you give him an error?
Takes ball 1. Mike Aldretti in the on-deck circle for the Expos. Fly ball foul down the left field line. Spike Owen 2 for 2. A couple of singles, a run scored. Batting from the left side of the plate for the first time today. Whitehurst checking the runner. Takes strike 2. I think one of the most unbelievable things about the Expos with the pitching staff that they have is that they haven't won more than 2 in a row since August 2nd.
They were the first pitching staff to have 5 pitchers go over the century mark in strikeouts. They've had a tough second half.
And played particularly poorly against the Eastern Vision in this last go-round. Breaking ball, he gets him on strikes.
It's amazing. For years, the Expos they idol on San Francisco 2 years ago.
The people expected a lot out of him. He He was traded to Montreal. Everybody was a little bit surprised, but he hasn't gotten a chance to play there either. Swing and a miss. With UB Brooks leaving, believe me, he's gone, because he and Buck Rogers have not seen eye to eye at all this year.
Well, the thing that has bothered Hubie over the years is they want to move him around quite a bit. They have no respect for his defense. Should they?
He was the all-star shortstop. Not so much for his defense, but his defense at shortstop improved.
Then they moved him to right field.
That took him from being an all-star player to being another outfielder. He was the top shortstop in the National League. Then he became just another right fielder. Sometimes that's a little tough to grasp. Line drive, base hit to center. Samuel over, picks it up. Junior Noboa stops at second base, and the go-ahead run comes to it. But they're not out of this ball game. One out in the top of the sixth, 2 men on, and Raines at the plate. Takes ball one.
How about Raines' bat? It's got a red handle. Black barrel, red handle.
It's a little something different.
I've never seen it before.
Foul ball out of play.
According to the...
Maybe that's for the bleeders. He's trying to get a bleeder here. Takes a pitch outside. Pitch from Whitehurst. Inside. Musselman throwing for the Mets. Swing and a miss. Strike two. Full count. We'll see if Buck Rogers sends his runners. I would expect him to do that. Tim Raines, probably his finest player at the plate. Whitehurst does not have a real fast delivery to the plate. They should be going, but they're not, and he fouls it straight back. Full count again. One down. They're not going.
Overly aggressive.
I agree. As I said, very surprising that he does not have these runners going. Let's try it again. Breaking ball, ball four. Bases loaded, one out. Mets leading by 2. It's 8-6. Raines at first. Ground ball to the third baseman Howard Johnson. To second, one, first, double play. Musselman on his first pitch induces pinch hitter Mike Fitzgerald to hit into a double play. The Mets strand 3 to get out of this inning, and they still lead 8-6. Few people packing. Right now in this 1-1 count. And a toss over the first. Howard Johnson would like to send the ball packing. Andy McGaffigan now pitching for the Montreal Expos. Fouled straight back. A ball and 2 strikes.
By the way, they're still tied in Chicago at 2. Pirates and the Cubs. They're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Bottom of the 7th at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. And it's 11-3 Cardinals. How about the temp here in New York? 54 degrees. It was 80 degrees when we started the ball game.
Cleveland, they're tied 1 apiece. Ball outside, 2-2. Do some good.
Even the psychiatrist is getting
Guys
hammered.
are burying the psychiatrist.
Now he needs a psychiatrist.
He may need one at the end of this year. Another toss over to first base. Ball carry on, not a big lead. Not going. Line drive, base hit to right. Carry on's going to go to third base. In comes UB Brooks, barehands it, throws it into the second baseman. And with nobody out, the Mets have runners on first and third. Gaffigan over to first base again.
Howard Johnson will probably be on the move.
He does have 38 stolen bases.
He wants the 40-40 club. It's going to be tough. He has 35 dingers.
Ball outside. Earlier in the game, Davey Johnson tried a squeeze play unsuccessfully. I don't think he's going to do it with McReynolds.
I was going to say, it'd be interesting. He did it
with Frank Viola.
Frank Viola.
Ball popped up. It's in foul territory. Galarraga at the wall, but it's in the 1-1 to McReynolds. Another toss over to first. There must be a bonus for the pitchers that throw over the first the most.
Although I can see them throwing the first with Howard Johnson, but they threw over there with Sid on first the other day.
There goes Howard. Oh! And the ball hits Kevin McReynolds. That was up and in, and I'll tell you, the umpire behind the plate, Dana DeMuth, did a really fine job just to make sure that McReynolds had someone blocking him going to the mound. McReynolds' initial look at the mound was interesting.
Yeah.
DeMuth did a good job coming out from behind the plate.
But Kevin, watch Kevin. He shows a temper right here. Now, oh boy, that had to hurt. Now watch this. That's the most you'll see him get upset. But I'll tell you one thing, Rusty. If you're going to see it again, if Kevin McReynolds decided to go after Andy McGaffigan, Dana DeMuth out there in front of him.
You see him jogging around. He's just trying. That's a good move by an umpire.
But Kevin will go right over the top of him to get to him. Unless Dana does something we don't know about, like karate.
Dana had to throw a little clip or something. Juan Samuel takes strike one. Bases full of Mets. Nobody out. Bottom of the sixth inning. Mets leading by 2, 8-6. Samuel 0 for 3 on the day. Hard ground ball, but foul. Infield in. Ball one. Then the second baseman and the shortstop. 1-2. Another ball up. 2-2.
Also to disturb the concentration of the hitter.
That might work if you did it just occasionally, but he does it all the time, and any hitter that's fooled by it. Samuel fooled by that breaking ball. He's down on strikes, 1 out. And the crowd does not like it.
Oh, here's that last pitch to Juan Samuel. Good pitch.
Strike one. Gaffigan has worked himself into a heap of trouble. Now trying to work his way out. Swing and a miss by Tuffle. 0-2. Sometimes you wonder, a guy struggles with his control and all of a sudden he gets the bases loaded and he's making great pitches. When you're the hitter, you go, what's going on here? This guy couldn't throw a strike. Now he's painting the corners on me.
And Andy kind of takes his time in throwing the ball to the catcher.
Fastball up and away. Just a wasted. A lot of bat movement by Tim Tuffle. Takes ball 2. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. McGaffigan strikes out back-to-back hitters with the Gary chant here.
You know, Andy McGaffigan has worked so slowly that we've seen the temperature go from summer to fall to winter.
You could call it a deliberate tempo. Carter, line drive to left. In comes Reyes, he drops on the ground. 1 run scores, 2 runs score. Here comes McReynolds, he's going to score. And Carter is going to go into second base with a 3-run double. 11-6 Mets.
Well, here it is again. Gary Carter hitting a fly ball in left field. Looked like it was going to drop. Raines tried to hold up. He slipped. The ball got by him. And a 3-run double for Gary Carter. 5 RBIs on the day. And the fans are back on his side. That's what 5 RBIs will do for you.
You got that right. Kevin Elster with 2 down and Carter on second. Takes us as a pinch hitter. Somebody's got to help Carter if he comes around to score. Little lofted ball in the right. Eubie Brooks is going to let it fall. Here comes Carter to throw from Eubie Brooks. Carter safe. Slid around the tag. Another RBI for Kevin Elster. Mets lead 12-6.
Earlier, I talked to Gary Carter before the game last night. He was real unhappy. He's all smiles today. How about that? They want a curtain call, and he's scoring on a base hit. Here it is again. Eubie Brooks gloving the ball and making the throw home. Gary Carter with the slide around the tag.
Eubie Brooks had a chance to catch that ball. He did not come in very aggressively. That was not good defense at all on his part.
Well, that's why Buck Rogers probably has had problems with Eubie Brooks. If he takes Eubie out for defensive reasons, then Eubie's upset.
Magadan, the pinch hitter, hitting .291, 4 home runs, 40 RBIs. 4 hits and 20 at bats as a pinch hitter with 5 RBIs. Well, sometimes you can talk yourself into anything, positive or negative. The thing to do with McGaffigan is to set yourself up to do a certain thing until 2 strikes. If you want to hit the breaking ball, you want to hit the changeup, look for that for 2 strikes. If you want the fastball, look for that for 2 strikes. You know, be one way or the other. If after your 2 strikes, you got to do what you can do. You know, guard the plate as best you can. Just a little slap grounder to the shortstop.
When he got a 6-run lead.
I don't believe that pitch. Honest to God.
Why would you throw a slider on a 3-2 count with a 6-run lead? You got to blame the catcher for that one.
That's just not good baseball.
Puts a runner on with 1 out and brings up Tim Wallach. Wallach 1 for 3 today.
In that game tomorrow afternoon, it will be David Cone against Mark Gardner.
And of course, the first baseman not holding the runner on with a 6-run lead. Looking for extra defensive room against the hitter Wallach in the first pitch, ball 1. The Expos in their final swing against the East have won 6 and lost 12, on the verge of making it 6-13. Total collapse by Montreal, and the pitch way outside, and the count 2-0. So Ennis with nothing to do but throw strikes and hope that the ball is hit somewhere. After striking out Galarraga, walks Eubie Brooks, and now is behind 2-0 to Wallach. The temperature has dropped from 80 degrees to somewhere down around 55 during this ball game, and there's ball 3, and it's 3-0. Carter out to the mound.
I'd be surprised if Davy Johnson doesn't get somebody up in that bullpen awfully quick. This is incredible for Ennis to have this type of a problem. We do want to remind you that tomorrow the game is sold out, so take mass transit if it's possible, because there will be a big crowd at Shea Stadium.
And with the Phillies coming in Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, there are tickets available for all 3 of the last 3 games of the season here at Shea. And there's a strike. Bottom of the 8th inning, Pittsburgh 2, Chicago 2. St. Louis ahead of Philadelphia 11-4 in the top of the 9th. And a ground ball to third. Johnson has a force play at second. They try for 2 and get it. So Howard Johnson turning in a double. Jeffries, who left the ball game with an earache. Jeffries a big day with a home run, a double, and 4 at bats, and now Miller batting for the first time. Miller hitting .214 with 1 home run, 6 runs batted in. A home run, a solo home run off of Steve Wilson of the Cubs at Wrigley Field, and he grounds the first pitch right back to McGaff again, and Miller's out.
Right fielder, Mark Carrion.
McGaff again almost out of a very serious situation in the 6th inning. With the bases loaded, he struck out Samwell and Tim Tuffle, but then Carter spoiled him, ruined his chance to get out of the inning with a double that drove in 3 runs. It was a broken bat base hit to left field. Raines made a try for it, slipped on the grass and fell, and the ball got by him, and 3 runs scored. And now Mark Carrion, the batter, and he fouls it off. Carrion with a walk, a double, and a single in 3 official at bats. RBI in the 4th inning when the Mets got their 6 runs. And a strike call for strike 2. Carrion hitting .278, 5 home runs, 10 runs batted in. 4 of his 5 home runs, pinch hit home runs this year, tying a Mets record, and that leads the major leagues for pinch hit home runs this season. Most pinch hit home runs hit in a single season was by Johnny Frederick of the Brooklyn Dodgers. And a pitch outside. Frederick with 6 home runs as a pinch hitter. Deep left field, way back in the corner, and it is gone. Goodbye. Mark Carrion with his 6th home run of the year and his first 2 home run game in the major leagues. Back-to-back home runs by Mark Carrion, first time in the major leagues, as he had that pinch hit home run to win the ball game last night. So Carrion, who had 1 home run in the minors, does it again.
You see Raines jumping on the fence with the balls out of the ballpark. So a very happy Mark Carrion.
Carrion replacing Darryl Strawberry in this ball game, as Strawberry was benched because of the left-hander Langston starting the game, and Carrion coming through with a single, a double, and a home run and a walk. Now Howard Johnson, the batter, and he takes again for ball 2.
Blaine Beatty and John Mitchell warming for the Mets.
And the fastball, and McGaff again falls behind. 2 balls, no strikes. Johnson 1 for 3 today. He has set a new club record for doubles in a single season and a new Mets record for extra base hits in a single season. And this ball hit to deep right field. Back goes Brooks. He's there, and he comes up with the ball, taking a home run away from Howard Johnson. Johnson robbed of his 36th home run as Hubie Brooks catches the ball over the fence.
Here's a look at it. Hubie's got it timed right at the wall. He's going to jump up, reach over, snag it, bring it back in the ballpark. And he's excited about it.
So Hubie robbing Howard Johnson of a home run, and that'll bring up Kevin McReynolds. Kevin 1 for 3 today, also hit by a pitch ball. And then the fastball for ball 1. Reynolds hitting .273 with 20 home runs, 79 RBIs. The 4th consecutive year he's had 20 or more home runs. And he fouls it into the
Ball came awfully close to Juan Samuel.
So McGavigan outside with a fastball. Langston, the starting pitcher in this game, gave up 7 runs in 3 2/3 innings. Ground ball in the hole. Wally can't get to it. It goes through, and that's a base hit.
Well, earlier in the game, there was a play where a runner almost blocked Elster. Here, I believe the third baseman Wallach blocks off the shortstop. Shortstop Spike Owen, you see him look quickly back at the third baseman going by. He absolutely blocked him out. McReynolds might have beat that ball out anyway, but
I don't think he had to play if he feels it. So now Juan Samuel, the batter. Juan has no hits and 4 at bats. The only hitter not to have a hit in this game as a starting player other than the pitcher, and he fouls off the first pitch, strike 1.
it's one of Fran's passes.
That's Fran's guest on the post-game show. One strike the count. Reynolds not being held on at first, and Samuel swings through a fastball, strike 2. With the bases loaded and no one out in the 6th inning, Samuel was struck out. Then Tim Tuffle was struck out, but then Carter came through with a big base hit to get the Mets 3 more runs. 2-strike pitch, swing and a miss, and Samuel is struck out again. From the pennant race with the victory by the Mets here today, if the Mets can hold on. Here in the top of the 8th, the leadoff batter will be Nelson Santoveno, who is 0 for 3 and batting against Jeff Ennis in the first pitch, strike 1. If nothing else, Santoveno will be remembered for stopping Vince Coleman's consecutive game stolen base streak. He stopped him at 50. First man to throw him out this year. Ironically, right after that, Coleman tried again against Montreal and was thrown out by Mike Fitzgerald. So the Montreal Expos putting the lid on the stolen base record by Vince Coleman this year. 50 stolen bases, 45 in this season. The other 5 that he got to go to 50, the last 5 stolen bases of last year. That broke a record by Davey Lopes, who had had 38 consecutive stolen bases. All those coming in a single season. 1 ball, 1 strike the count, and the pitch inside for ball 2, 2-1. Santoveno hitting .248 for the year with 5 home runs, 29 runs batted in. And another ball for ball 3, 3 balls and 1 strike. The Mets with a 7-run lead, and Ennis still throwing breaking balls behind in the count. The Cubs have won their ball game by a score of 3-2. So the magic number for the Cardinals and the Cubs, with both of them standing to win, as the Cardinals have won and the Mets with a chance to win, changes for both clubs. It's now 4 for the Cubs over St. Louis and 3 for the Mets over for the Cubs over the Mets. And the 3-2 pitch hit out to right field. Carry on right there. 1 away.
Second baseman, Junior Noboa.
That'll bring up Junior Noboa. Noboa 0 for 3 in the game. And And a fly ball to left center field. A good start for McReynolds, and a good finish as he makes the catch, 2 men out. Ennis with a chance to pick up his first save of the year. He has a record of 0-1 with no saves, and if he can finish this ball game, he will get his first save. Now pitching to Spike Owen, who has 2 of the 9 hits for the Expos, 2 for 3 today. He's had 19 hits and 53 at bats against the Mets this year, including 1 home run and 9 runs batted in.
In that Philadelphia series, Ralph, Ojeda facing Pat Coombs, Sid Fernandez facing Mulholland or Grimsley. Both Coombs and Grimsley, 2 of the really fine young talents for the Phillies. Some exciting young pitchers Met fans might have an opportunity to see.
Mets have not faced Pat Coombs, but they have seen Grimsley. And Spike Owen takes for a ball. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. The Cubs with a victory with a run in the bottom of the 9th inning, winning over the Pittsburgh Pirates. So the Cubs doing it by themselves.
There'll be a lot of excitement at Wrigley Field right now.
Ground ball hit hard to the second baseman, and Miller comes loaded in the 6th. And the first pitch, ball 1. Two balls, no strikes. Tom Foley is now playing third base. Tim Wallach being taken out of the game. And this ball popped up into shallow right field. Uwe Brooks coming hard, makes the play. 1 away. And that'll bring up the big hitter in the ball game today, Gary Carter, and the boos turn to cheers as Carter with a big day. 3 for 4 and 4 runs batted in. Carter putting icing on the cake with the bases loaded double that cleared the bases. And the first pitch is in there, called strike. Carter with a bloop base hit in the 2nd. A line drive base hit for 2 RBIs in the 4th inning. And then the double that cleared the bases. That means 5 RBIs. 1 ball, 1 strike. The chant of Gary in the background. So Carter getting a reward for his big hitting day. A 1-1 pitch. And he hits it hard for 5.
And the Met bullpen, Julio Machado warming up. Even though Ennis has an opportunity maybe to get his first save if he finishes this game. Davey Johnson may want to let Machado get an inning in. We'll see.
Machado's done a good job for the Mets since coming up from the minor leagues. And this pitch is hit foul back into the stands, out of play. So Carter with the count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. Temperature has really dropped here from the start of the ball game until now. Started at 80 degrees, it's probably down to about 50. 52 degrees at 5:33. And Carter struck out in the pitch in the dirt. The strikeout completed by the throw to first base by Santovenia.
Riaz has actually moved.
Fly set a record for Mets shortstops with his 50th run batted in, breaking a record set back in 1966 by Ed Basu, and he fouls off the first pitch, strike one. Later on the 6th, he got an RBI.
That's a long hold, isn't it?
Boy.
1962 to 1989. Wow.
You could understand it if it were a record like 100 RBIs for a shortstop. But the old record, 49. Two strikes to count.
That might be the best play of the game, that catch Hesketh just made from the catcher.
It's a great play.
Speaking of after the game, on Fran Haley's post-game show, Gary Carter, who's had such a marvelous day today, will be Fran's guest. So stay tuned. Gary had some harsh words yesterday. We'll see what he has to say after the game.
And there's a pitch for a ball. It's 1-2. Bases off the base of the fence in center field, left center field, and Elster comes up with his second hit of the game, and he picks up a 2-base hit.
Here's a look at it. It's a breaking ball that breaks right into the heart of the plate. Elster drives it in the left center, hits the bottom of the fence. And an easy double for Kevin.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please.
Who is the pitcher on the losing side of this ball game? Pitcher of record. 1-0 pitch, and Lombardi takes a call. Strike 1-1. Well, Ennis has never had a major league save, and he had an opportunity for his first.
So much for that, right?
I can understand Davey on this one. He wants to keep everybody as sharp as possible. There still is some hope. Not much, but some. 1-1 pitch is fouled back into the stand. The Mets' magic number dropping to 3. That means if the Cubs would win 3 or the Mets would lose 3, it'd be all over.
I think the word now is improbable. Maybe 2 words. Very improbable. 2
chances, slim and none, and slim is going out the door. But the Mets still are fighting for second place. And second place would mean a full share cut of about $15,000 per man. And the pitch high. 2-2 the count.
The people who most benefit by that are some of the younger players, obviously. Some of the coaches. That means a lot to them. Guys spend their whole year working hard with all the players, giving a lot of their time. That's a big bonus for the coaches.
That's a game and a half back of the Cardinals, fighting for second place. Cardinals winning the day, and their magic number has dropped to 4. And that pitch is called strike 3.
No record, a 1.50 earned run average, no saves. It's his 6th game. In 6 innings, he's given up 3 hits, walked 1, and struck out 7. So Lombardi will stay in the game behind the plate. He will hit in the 9 slot. Machado in the 7th.
And the top of the 9th inning for Montreal. The score 13-6 in favor of the Mets.
Leading off for the Expos, number 1, center fielder Dave Martinez.
So Dave Martinez will be the leadoff batter for Montreal, batting for the first time, hitting .276 for the year with 3 home runs, 24 runs batted in. Make that 25 runs batted in. And the first pitch by the hard-throwing right-hander, a fastball for ball 1. The Mets, with a win here today, will be 9-8 with the Montreal Expos. And they will have won 7 of the 8 games played here at Shea Stadium, with one more to play tomorrow. David Cohn on the mound against Mark Gardner. Bob Ojeda was scheduled to pitch that game, and he has been pushed back. Two-0 pitch, a good riding fastball, 2-1. Mets with 111 different lineups this year. And it's popped up out in the shallow left field. Elster back. 1 away. That'll bring up Tim Raines. Tim 1 for 2 today with 2 walks and a run scored.
Left fielder, Tim Raines.
Mets 13 runs on 15 hits. They made 1 error. The Montreal Expos 6 runs on 9 hits, and they made 3. The 3 errors, the undoing of the Montreal Expos, especially the first 2. When the Mets got 6 runs in the 4th inning, the first 2 batters got on errors as that inning started. First one was an error when Kevin McReynolds hit the ball to the shortstop, and it was a 2-base error as he booted it, as you look at the line score on the scoreboard. And then Juan Samuel with a deep fly ball to right center field saw that ball drop by the center fielder Grissom, and that got the inning started. A walk loaded up the bases, and the Mets went on to score 6 runs on 4 hits, 2 of the runs unearned. And in that inning, 3 errors were made by the Montreal Expos. So Davy Johnson still alive in the pennant race. Buck Rogers will be eliminated from the pennant race. And the fastball for a ball, 1-2. Montreal Expos got into first place against the Mets when Pascual Perez defeated Dwight Gooden back in June. They were in first place for 41 days, and then the Mets knocked them out of first place with a 3-game sweep of a series here at Shea Stadium. They have been going downhill ever since. From first to second to third to fourth. That's as far as it will go. 1-2 the count. Two and two. Missed with a fastball.
They've heaped a lot of grief on manager Buck Rogers, but it's really not Buck Rogers' fault. His pitchers have been healthy. His players just haven't done the job. Here's Buck.
Galarraga off season. UB Brooks in off season. Tim Wallach in off season. Was a pitching coach and active pitcher for the New York Mets at one time. And the ground ball goes by. Howard Johnson in the left field. Rays with a base hit. It is being scored an error, so pardon me. Second error. Ground ball to third base. Johnson to second, and that'll do it. So the Mets keep their hopes alive as they defeat the Montreal Expos. They are eliminated. The Expos are from the pennant race. And the Mets win it by a score of 13-6. Mets are 1 point trailing in the ball game by a score of 4-1 after the grand slam home run by Hubie Brooks, but they came back to win it, and for the Mets their 34th comeback victory. And we'll be back with a wrap-up in just a moment, right after these messages.